welcome to Ask the Amigos November edition. We have amassed all of Discord's burning questions to answer them for you right now. And we're going to kick it off, Aaron, with a question from Dave Velociraptor. Every time we record one of these shows, including right now, as I do it right now, I take a image of a Tennessee State Trooper Highway Patrol thing and put it on there for the checkpoint.
I've seen that, yeah.
And he says, why Tennessee State Troopers and not West Virginia State Troopers?
Or Kentucky would even make more sense than Tennessee.
You want to take a stab at that one?
First one you found.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, it says Smoky Barn News at the bottom. And I want to know what's going on in Smoky Barn.
I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
Not fair enough, then.
But yeah, that's the first one I found. If I could find a decent West Virginia State Trooper checkpoint thing, I would use it.
All the logos and stuff that I make, that's often how we do her. I'll look up, it's like, like for example, in the show this past week on ARG, the topic was games that became other games.
Right.
Well, where are you going to get that logo? You can't steal that one. So I had to go steal the word games from one thing, then the word games from another thing. And so what I like to do is, I like one of the two things I steal to have enough space over it where I could just erase what was there, place the other thing in and then write some crap, bam, that's how you do it.
That's it. That's graphic design. That's what
right.
Is.
It's people have complimented me on these logos and stuff. Paint 3D and massive amounts of theft.
It's an art form.
It is.
It's an art form.
Stealing crap is what I do, Bo.
Yeah. All right, Aaron. We're moving on down the line. David Hearn Ryder asks, if someone put the characters from the Addams Family into TV sports basketball, would that be your perfect game?
That'd be your game more than mine.
Well, TV sports basketball is your game.
Right, but you love you between the two of us.
Right.
I know I'd want Lurch as center. I'll tell you that right now.
He's not really a fast mover.
Yeah. I don't know who you have as your forwards and stuff, though. The kids, I guess.
There's not. Oh, I guess Wednesday's pretty tall.
No, she's not. She's a little girl.
Well, she's tall for a little girl.
Listen, you got to have Gomez in there probably as your forward.
That's true. I don't really understand basketball positions.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do.
Yeah, well, I don't either. I know what the center is. I got that part.
He's the big man in the middle. The Gatimbe Mutombo.
Yeah, well,
I'm an analyst.
That's fun to say,
analyst,
too. Yeah.
Alien Breeder asks, what was on the Larry Zabisco music album?
He had a song on there. I don't recall the name of the song.
Who is Larry Zabisco?
Oh, Boat.
I don't know this.
Larry Zabisco, Larry Z, he was a wrestler. His father was Stan Zabisco, very famous wrestler from like the 40s and 50s. And Larry, I don't know if they're actually related. Ironically, I don't know if Larry just took the name. I don't think they're actually related. But Larry got his start training under the legendary Bruno Sammartino. In fact, he bugged Bruno until he trained him. They were like next door neighbors, lived in the same city or something. And I recall the story where he basically went over to Bruno's house and said, listen, I want to break in. And Bruno Sammartino was like, at that time, he was one of, if not the biggest wrestlers on earth. World champion for decades.
I've watched a lot of documentaries about these wrestling training academies.
Yeah.
And it seems like the major part of these academies is just learning how to take massive amounts of chops.
Well, this is not an academy. This is one guy. He only trained a couple of guys his whole career. One was his son. So this was a big deal. And then when Larry ended up having a huge feud, they actually worked the training into an angle where Larry turned on him. They drew a huge house at Chase Stadium. I believe the undercard featured Andre the Giant. Chuck Wepner, I think, was on that show. Or it might have been Andre and Hulk. It was a huge fight, but Bruno and Larry were on top. They drew huge money. And Larry ultimately was AWA World Champion. He was in the NWA for a while and eventually was a commentator for WCW Nitro. And a heck of a golfer, I might add.
You said Larry Zabisco, that's probably not his real name. Wrestlers don't really do that anymore, right? They usually wrestle under their own names.
They never wrestle under their real name.
Really?
No, very rarely.
Huh. Because they don't have cool names like they used to.
No, they
like
don't.
The Trash
They've got
Man.
dumb names.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
but they're made up dumb names. They're not the real dumb names.
It is. What would your wrestling name be? You ever thought about it?
It would probably be something music related, like the Orchestrator.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
dude.
I come in there with the baton. That would be my fork.
Yeah.
Right in the eye.
That would hurt.
I don't know
too.
how you can make that a work though.
What you do is you there's plenty of band instruments you can use to cheat.
Yeah, you hit somebody with a flugelhorn.
Yeah, or a flute.
Yeah,
upside the head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you could do.
You could pull every match. You could pull a different musical instrument out from under the ring. Cello.
I like it. I think there was a guy called the Maestro.
Really?
Yeah, and he also wrestled under the name George. What was it? Gorgeous George III. I've seen him wrestle a couple times. He played piano.
Is Gorgeous George that desirable a name that people as 3 generations of people?
Yeah, Gorgeous George was a huge star.
I know
in
he was
wrestling.
a huge star.
And this guy was like his legitimate nephew or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he played piano. You know, I remember one time they lowered him from the ceiling with a piano a couple times. Yeah, it was cool.
Why have we not watched his highlights before?
Well, they're not that many.
Let's see here. And was he as good as he was on the Wrestle Rock Rumble?
He was great in that. Who wrote this? Alan Breeder.
This is Alien Breeder.
My favorite, Alan Breeder from my version of the song. Yeah. Listen, Breeder, you're well schooled, my friend. If you know that, Wrestle Rock Rumble was the AWA's attempt to be cool because it was a rap about their big event, and they had all the big players rap. I remember Larry's rap. I remember the whole.
Do it.
I'm Larry Zbyszko, and I won't be through till I get done slapping around Scott Ledoux. There you go. He wrestled Scott Ledoux on that fight. Former world boxing contender.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to go on?
That's all I can remember off the top of my head.
Barkbit asks, what do you want for Christmas?
Oh, man. I need a new comforter. You know, new sheets.
Mm-hmm.
I need all that new bedding.
Mm-hmm.
Would be nice.
New bedding.
I need some new jeans.
Really?
Blue jeans. Yeah. Blue
you
jeans.
You got a preferred brand?
Blue. Whatever. No. Not really. Clearly, I put a lot of thought into these. They're 50 sizes too big.
Well, they're comfy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're comfy.
Where do you stand on the jeans that look like sweatpants? Or the sweatpants? Yeah, the sweatpants that look like jeans. It's the other way around.
I've never had a pair of those.
You might want to look into it.
It seems sort of cheesy.
Well, they look real. It's not until you touch them. That
you know, America's given. You remember you weren't a big fan of the Seinfeld, were you? Back
no, I love Seinfeld.
You remember the episode where George would come in sweatpants and Jerry would say, "Well, you've given up." Remember that?
Yeah.
All of America has given up, at least this part. The Chud is a purveyor of the sweatpants. I don't wear sweatpants around generally, so I would rather just have real jeans. I haven't hit that. I haven't sunk that low yet. The year's young.
The year's young. I haven't really thought about what I want for Christmas this year. You know, Eep just got me I like wearing caps, like the flat cap. They call it the scally cap.
Yeah.
You
do wear a bunch of wacky hats.
Yeah, Eve got me one of those. You got to wear hats when you're bald because it's cold outside.
Remember that your gimmick was going to be wearing a different hat like Chuck Berry?
And I was going to wear a different wig every episode.
It was both. You tried
okay.
but you never did that.
Well, the problem is that I'm deathly allergic to whatever they make cheap wigs out of.
And all you had was the cheap ones.
The cheapest.
Yeah. Never
the
cheap
cheapest
out on your
of
wig,
the cheap
but,
wigs.
Yeah.
I got 40 in an eBay lot for $10.
40 used wigs?
Yeah.
Were they used?
Maybe, who knows? They came from China, I can tell you that. David Hearn, writer, asks again, does playing retro games still make you happy? And how has getting older changed the experience from back in the day?
Well, hell yeah, it does. Who asked that?
David Hearn, writer.
Smack yourself, David. You know it does. You think this is some kind of gimmick? That's all I play, brother.
Yeah. I play retro games because they're the only games that make me happy.
I sat out here we're filming this in the arcade boat, as you know. And I'm out here trying to make sure that everything's working right for the big Thanks for Geek Marathon plug. So I thought, I'm just going to play a few, because I want to make sure the timing goes right on the capture device.
Mm-hmm.
Play a few holes of Neo Turf Masters. Bam, played the whole round.
Yep.
And then I was like, well, you can only be sure about these things when you play some Donkey Kong.
Mm-hmm.
So then I sat here and played a bunch of games of Donkey Kong.
Right.
So yeah, I love it. I can't get enough of it.
How has the experience changed from when I was a kid? When I was a kid, I played retro games out of necessity because that was all I had. I felt like I was consistently behind the curve from what was new. So when I was a kid, I was always lusting after, when it was a Nintendo, was the Super Nintendo. When it was the Super Nintendo, it was the N64. So, but now I play these games and I'm like, man, this is all I want. I don't want to go forward.
I feel like I'm in a sweet spot because for what the Amigos game shows have done for my retro gaming, that TeamSpeak Irregulars do for my modern gaming. So I get to play
That's true.
One night a week. I sit down and play nothing but modern stuff. I mean, modern by our standards.
Right.
And I get, like, I'm really getting into Friday the 13th, the game. Because I
Mhm.
found that you can take your experience points and buy different killing moves.
Mhm.
I just picked up one where Jason presses his victim up over his head and then backbreakers him.
Oh.
Like, I picked up all the wrestling ones. There's one where he just takes a guy and just lawn darts him. It's so great. So yeah, you can have fun with both.
Mm. And if you're watching live, I'm not looking down at my phone because I'm like checking my Twitter feed. This is where the questions are today. Let's see here.
Because we're inept.
Andy Craig asks, I hope this hasn't been asked before. I miss some Ask the Amigos. What do you and folks around you think of the West Virginia Coal Wars / Battle of Blair Mountain?
It's kind of a big deal around here, isn't it, Bode?
Yeah.
I mean, historically speaking, it's not like we sit around fuming about it now.
Right. We're not still like protesting down at Matewan.
You know, that was quite an event. It's taught here. I don't know if it's taught everywhere. Probably not.
Probably not.
But listen, it also is a generational lesson in what happens when your mining companies or any company in general gets too much jack, too much power of the worker, and stuff like that is going to happen. It's going to happen again, by the way. Not in coal, but somewhere down the line, because it sort of already happened in a more peaceful way. Because people were like, we don't have to have these jobs, and so we want more money. And so now people are getting more money because there are more jobs than there are people. Of course, the flip side of that is everything's gotten
more expensive.
1/3 more expensive. So they always get you in the end, don't they, Bode?
They do. They do.
But yeah, that was a big deal. I've been to Blair. You've ever been up there?
No.
I've been up there, yeah.
I'm trying to think about what mining was there. Was there ever any wars in Thurman?
No. Well, I mean, there were probably some personal wars, but no. Thurman, no. They had a big hotel up there and a lot of gambling. That's where they had the world's longest poker game, I believe.
Really?
Thurman, yeah.
Yeah, I've been down to the Whipple Company store.
Yeah. That place had a lot of violence, too.
Yeah.
Company stores, they were all, when I was younger, I went to an operating one.
Really?
Up in Cabin Creek, they had one. They used to
Wow.
go in there. Now, they eventually changed off. By the time I was a kid, they had moved away from script, and they were just taking money.
Right. But it was
the same store, and it was a big store that was just right in the middle of the community. It's funny, I go down through there now, and it's torn down, but I remember exactly where it was. I was in there many times. It was a big deal. It was like fun.
Right.
Because in that area, it's like a pretty good trek to get out of Cabin Creek to go to a proper store.
Yeah. Pajako 6502 asks, given that houses and objects can be haunted, do you think that do you think we could or do have haunted retro gaming or hardware?
That was a tricky one there, wasn't it?
The phrasing was weird.
This is like the dark side style question there.
Right. Have you ever had a haunted game? Haunted console?
Almost every computer I've ever, including the one we're using right now, I'm convinced is haunted. And when it comes to screwing me, do you believe in haunted objects, computer, retro, or
I kind of
otherwise?
feel like one of the prerequisites for your classic haunted object is there's got to be some trauma or something that exists for the object to become
like someone
haunted.
was beaten to death with an Atari 2600 or Heavy Sixer.
And as far as I know, none of my consoles or computers have been subject to that amount of trauma. I'm not saying that there's not one that exists out there, but nothing I've owned.
Yeah. I'm pretty right now. Well, I'll tell you something. You get some pinball machines or an arcade machine, you never know what they've been up to.
That's true. You get one out of an old bar or something.
You can store a corpse in an arcade machine or a pinball machine, certainly.
You easily could. Yeah. Probably easier in an arcade machine.
Come to think of it, both. We'll talk later.
Bum, bum, bum. HSI asks, what's the one piece of retro gaming kit you regret ever getting involved with? I don't mean something you just didn't get on with, but something that turned out to be much more hassle than fun.
Jukebox comes to mind.
That's a good one. I never got in there, but I almost did, and that would have been a big mistake.
And the thing is, if you have one that's working, it would be a lot of fun to have. The problem is, everything in this hobby. Listen, we're sitting here. I'm looking at all these pinball machines and stuff around this boat. All of this could qualify because it's lunacy. In all honesty. I tell Boat all the time that the amount of songs you could put on something that's the size of your thumbnail is more than any 50 jukebox could hold. And we've become spoiled with the amount of music you can have. I mean, if you fill a jukebox with like 200 songs, that's a drop in the bucket.
Right.
Compared to what you're used to hearing. Most people are used to having a big shuffle. Now you could convert it or whatever, but I mean it's tough. I've dipped my toe in a lot of pools that I regretted it. Something else that's redemption machines that Brent wanted. That was a big mistake.
Eldorado.
The big heavy wooden disasters, because when those things break, what you've got there is a huge load. Slot machines, quarter pushers, another one. They seem like they'll be a lot of fun, but they're not. Now we have a little contest. We derived as much fun from a quarter pusher as people can, because we made a little contests up and stuff. But I mean,
there's only so much you can do.
A lot of those redemption machines should stay in the arcade because they don't have any business being back at the pad. What about you?
Classic Macintosh computers.
Like the Plastic Fantastic.
The Plastic Fantastic, even the Mac Plus. When I was a kid, the Lilies had a Mac Plus, and I was like, man, I want a Mac Plus too. So I got one, and this is in the early days of eBay back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it came with a hard drive. It came with a bunch of discs, and immediately the hard drive stopped working. And who knows how to fix that? So it went into the trash. Then the disk drive stopped working. The disc got stuck in there. Then you had to get out the old Mac Cracker, one of those extra long Torx screwdrivers.
Yeah.
Then you're messing around with, and then that stopped working. And then I got the floppy emulator. That thing, I still don't understand how to operate the floppy emulator. It is not the Coco SDC. I can tell you that right now.
You remember that commercial where that Native American guy looks over all that trash?
Tear.
That's what Kate Fox is doing right now, listening to you badmouth these things.
Listen, they're difficult to get into. You really have.
My opinion, and they did that on purpose. They always do. They don't want you in there.
And then the Plastic Fantastic. I lusted after one of these machines for years and years and years. Then I got one, and I realized how massively huge they are. They're so big and so heavy. And then I got the screen, and I got the keyboard. And what do I do with it? I don't know, because it doesn't actually play in the games that I want to play, except for that one pinball game that I really like.
Yeah, that's it.
So I've essentially got a pinball computer.
I mean, you love Apple.
I do.
Because you've drank the Kool-Aid.
I did,
like
for a
geek,
long time.
And even worked for him, like a drone.
Yeah.
Like a worker bee. You can't help it. You shouldn't feel bad about it. I think you've done plenty of other dumber things than that.
Well, I mean,
like
not gaming related, though.
Right, but the boat stuff.
Yeah, the inflatable boat was a real big mistake.
Did they say it had to be gaming related?
Yeah, he said it had to be gaming related. Oh, trust me. When it comes to money sinks, gaming's just the tip of the iceberg.
Did you see that report today, speaking of another one of your trips down into Wacky Town, about how misrepresented the market is on crypto? It was like 95% misrepresented.
Well, yeah. Let's not go into crypto.
At least you're out of there now.
Yeah. I'm not out of it, by the way. I'm still way in.
You idiot.
Barkbit asks, if you had the opportunity to make a TV program, what would it be?
What are we doing? Ask the Amigos, the network edition. We might broadcast that one with 2 cameras from the arcade.
Yeah.
Now, what would you do? Make a TV show?
I'd like to do something like the old school tech TV, where you just have a network of nothing but like people doing hacking projects, people messing around with old stuff and new stuff. Yeah. If I had unlimited budget, that's what I'd set up. I'd love to do something like that. Of course, it got no view. That's why tech TV doesn't exist. Nobody watched it.
Yeah.
And there's also YouTube. But that's what I do. Or I'd have a program, I'd have a network set up that did nothing but show old sports highlights with new sports stars commenting on them. I think it would be cool to like listen to LeBron talk about Dr. J or something like that.
Well, yeah, you got ESPN 30 for that though.
Everything exists. That's the problem.
Listen, we're on the cusp. This is the new frontier of television, all right? So I think we're already doing it. If I could make, if I had unlimited wad, all right, if they said, listen, you need to go make you a TV show, all right? Number one, if I could use an existing property, I would direct and write and maybe star in a new wave of Fireflies.
You'd go that over Babylon 5.
Babylon 5's already coming back.
That's true.
So there's that. Firefly might be as well. Also, I wouldn't mind resurrecting Wild Wild West. That's
Smith
a great
movie.
show. No. Boat. I'll kill
Wild
you.
West. I can rap that for you.
Listen, that song sucked. What a disaster. Like I said, when Jim West went and picked up the Razzies for that movie and did it with a smile on his face. I earned ultimate respect for Robert Conrad. So there you go. Yeah, it is, Tech Boy. All right, Boat, there you go.
All right. Rob says we need an investment talk at Boat Fest. Stay tuned for my timeshare presentation, everybody.
Oh, Rob, you don't know what you're asking.
Okay, speaking of Rob, he's got 3 quick fire questions
Holy
for
smokes.
us.
All right, go.
Question number 1. Is there someone from your past you would like to reconnect with but haven't been able to locate?
What about you? I got to think
Yes.
about that one. Really?
Yeah, there's a guy named Tom Booth that I knew in college. I used to play guitar with him at church. He was a great guitarist, and I always wondered what happened to him.
Yeah.
He's not on Facebook. I've not been able to track him down.
I assume this is living people. Because there are plenty of people
you can
that
answer
have
however you
passed
like.
on. I can't think of it right off the top of my head that I've lost contact. I mean, there's people that I don't talk to now, but it's not like I couldn't contact them at any point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or find them.
Right.
I can find about anybody.
There's nobody that you just
like
drop
I've got lots
completely
of
off
some of
your
my
radar.
best friends I haven't talked to for years. It's not because I don't like them no more. It's just that they're very busy. They do their own thing. You know. So when they come to town, we get in touch.
Remember when there was that big hullabaloo a couple years ago where you're like, we're getting the gang back together for one more weekend of role playing excitement.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, yeah.
Well, also COVID kind of came into town.
Yeah.
That kind of hosed that. Listen, I'm suddenly after talking to you today, I'm starting to turn the corner on that idea.
Yeah. Let's see here. Question number 2. What are your favorite and least favorite Thanksgiving foods or dishes?
Well, I can tell you my favorite. One of my favorites is cranberry sauce, the cranberry
in the can
gel or whatever. And my least favorite is the non-gelled version. Don't ever eat a cranberry without it being in its proper can shape.
Right. You don't want to actually see the cranberries or feel them.
They taste weird.
Yeah.
They're seedy. They're no good. I like pumpkin pie, and I like it with the whipped cream and a glass of milk. Man, that's good eating.
That is good eating. I like that.
I like, of course, turkey and ham. Got to have that. Both. Those are all good eating. What about you?
Favorite stuffing? I like any kind of stuffing.
Yeah.
But I like stovetop. I like the real stuff, whatever. And least favorite, any kind of casserole.
Yeah, what is it with the casserole?
Green bean casserole. I'd rather just eat green beans.
That's right. Yeah. I don't like food on... Teresa makes fun of me. I don't like my stuff mixed up.
Yeah.
Just give it to me straight, Doc. I can take it.
I'm with you on that.
Don't mix it with other stuff, other different types of beans or whatever the heck's in a casserole.
Yeah.
Or a stew.
No.
I don't like the stew.
No,
I could get
neither.
on with some soup.
I like soup, but I don't like
but not stew.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm right there with you, man.
Saying,
all right. And question number 3. Tell us a memory about Showbiz Pizza or Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, man. Did you ever get to go to one of those things before they went tanky?
I don't know. When did they go tanky?
When you say it like that, it made me sound like a 4-year-old.
I mean, when did it...
Have you been to one or not?
Yeah.
We'll talk about your memories.
Well, I thought you meant like at some point in the past, Chuck E. Cheese or Showbiz Pizza became lame, and there was some sort of dividing line.
No, they don't exist.
Because they're still there.
They don't exist as they once were. One of them's still there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, talk about it.
When I was probably 11 or 12, I went there on my birthday.
Yeah.
And it was, I saw the Rock-afire explosion.
Oh, yeah.
I remember it was 104 degrees on that day because our car had a thermometer in it.
Yeah, man,
it was
that's
really hot,
yeah.
really hot. And I remember that was the first time I ever played Windjammers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time I think I'd played a Neo Geo machine at all. And I remember seeing the Rock-afire explosion, but I've never, as far as I'm aware, actually eaten pizza at Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh man,
Showbiz Pizza.
Dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't think we did that.
Yeah, I was there when they opened up the Chuck E. Cheese over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been to Chuck E. Cheese. There's a Chuck E. Cheese in it's in Charleston. Well, the pizza place out there, what is that place called? Quarter G.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about out there?
I didn't know there was a Chuck E.
Oh,
Cheese
yeah. I've
there.
been to many a birthday party out there, including we threw one for the kid out there.
Where is that in relation to, what's it near?
It's at Quarter G where all the Walmart and all that stuff
Yeah,
is.
but is it on the left side of the road?
It's on the left side if you're going away from Charleston.
Right.
It's right before at the end of everything.
Okay.
It's
is it by the Cabela's?
Do you know where the what's that stupid restaurant that's based on like cars?
Oh yeah,
it's
Quaker Steak and Lube.
Yeah,
okay.
it's up near there.
Huh.
Yeah.
I never knew there was one there.
So anyway, I've been there a bunch of times. They've got a pretty tight gimmick. You buy your kid they said like how many kids you're gonna have, and then you buy your food based on how many kids, right? And then they divvy up a bunch of
every
tokens.
kid gets a certain amount.
Yeah, and then they've got this new gimmick where you get this machine that blows like coupons
it's like the money
around
machine,
or whatever.
right?
That's right. Yeah.
Did you ever get in the old money machine?
I've never
when
been
you
in
were
one
a
of them
kid?
suckers.
I remember at
I'd break those
school.
because I just opened the shirt.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. At school for our fundraiser, our school fundraiser one year, they brought in a money machine.
Yeah.
And
with real money?
Yeah, with real money in it. But those things are ultra rigged. They're quarter pusher rigged.
Really?
Yeah, because the money blows around so fast, you can grab one bill at a time. You're not like grabbing wads of money.
That's when you use your coat.
I don't know if they were allowed to bring in coats.
Also, here's a little tip
I think
for
you had to be nude. to
Coat
use the
your
money
body
machine.
with like this crap that they catch flies with.
Yeah, like that wide receiver stuff. Yeah.
Stick them.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was a kid, they had the Chuck E. Cheese there at Huntington, still there. It's moved across the street. And with the rocket fire explosion, they're still there.
That's not the original location?
No, that's not. The rocket fire explosion used to be over there across the street where the Outback is.
Huh.
Yeah, they moved over there. The rocket fire explosion looks rough these days.
Yeah, not so good, Al.
The rocket fire exploded.
Mhm.
But back in their prime, those things were awesome. I remember as a kid looking at these, I was like, holy smokes, robots.
Mhm.
That was a big deal.
I've been digitizing a lot of video from the 80s, and almost every tape has a little bit of rocket fire explosion on it. So.
I've been to parties at that place. By the way, the first place I ever played Matt Mania was at that pizza place. First place I ever played Final Fight was at that place. So I got to see how they actually we used to legitimately have video games in there.
Yeah.
Now it's almost all redemption. They still got they could keep a couple token games in there for geeks, but for the most part, they even got rid of all the pinball machines. It's a big, huge scam now. It's all garbage.
Yeah.
You go in there and just get depressed.
That's the way I feel when I go in Dave & Buster's,
Also, the
too.
pizza's always been horrible. Yeah. Dave & Buster's, too, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dave Velociraptor asks, deep fried turkey, yes or no?
I've never had it.
Me neither.
Now, my buddy at work's deep frying one this week, and he says it's the bomb. He says it's the only way to go. Yeah, so.
You got to have a special machine for that.
Yeah, it's a big pot and a bunch of oil.
Yeah.
That's the machine, Bode.
You got to do it outside, I guess.
You do, yeah.
Unless
there can be some blowback. You got to thaw the turkey, too. I've heard that's a bad idea, throw it in there frozen.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh. David Z asks, are we going to do Secret Santa this year?
Yes. Well, listen, if you're watching us right now live, you've only got a few days left. What did we say, the 30th? It was a cutoff? Something like that? I don't remember what the cutoff was. But anyway, get in there. If you're on the Discord, Amigos Discord, go down to the Amigos Secret Santa area and get signed up, brother. We got about 10 people right now, Bode. What's the record number we've ever had?
That's a great question. I have no idea.
Well, this has got to be close. So get in there. No matter what country you are on Earth, you will get a Secret Santa buddy. It's going to be awesome. I've gotten some cool stuff over the years, Bode.
Yeah, me too.
By the way,
man.
I've got my eye on a gift for somebody. It's going to cost me a few bucks, but it's awesome.
I picked out my gift, or I saw it when I was in Louisville last time. This was back in the summertime. I bought it because I knew Secret Santa was coming.
You've already you're loaded up for bear.
I am.
Roll down, yeah.
David Hearn, writer, asks.
He's got writer at the end of his name?
Yeah, that's why I keep saying it. What Amiga two-player game is your favorite?
Oh, man, TV Sports Basketball is great. I love that one. That stupid plane game we played 1,000,000 times.
Oh, Biplane Duel.
We had a lot of fun playing that.
Yeah.
Two-player Lemmings was pretty fun. We had a lot of fun playing that. Can you think of it off the top of your head?
Oh yeah, that game that I can't think of what it's called, but that game we played at Amiga Ireland
that
you
I
hated.
knew that one stupid game. I knew you were going to say that.
Racing the Beam, I think it's called. Somebody in chat
sucking
will know
the
what
butt.
I'm talking about.
That was no good.
That's not what I want.
What? That's out of line?
Super Dodge. Thank you, Pix. Super Dodge, greatest game of all time.
Yeah. Plus any of the racing titles you can play, like Supercars, all that crap.
Supercars is always good.
Those are fun. I think it's was it Lotus 3 or 2? Whichever one you can play the two-player once. That one's pretty fun. I like that stuff.
Yeah. Let's see here. And finally, final question. Pajako.
Okay.
6502 asks, do you dislike the sound of your own voices on recordings? And does it put you off listening to old shows?
Go ahead, Bode.
Sometimes I will listen to our shows and I'll get into it and I like it, and then other times I'll listen to it and I'll be just like, man, I can't stand the sound of my voice. So it just depends on what mood I'm in, and also it depends on the quality of our audio. Like, I would never in a million years go back and listen to any of our early episodes just because I cringe at how bad the audio sounds.
Some of our more, like our ARG from a couple weeks ago, more horrible audio. Listen, I can tell you right now, we've had trouble getting this show going. And we've done this a million times, all right? Audio is a perpetual pain in the butt, all right? But in terms of listening to ourselves, I have produced so many of these shows, and I've heard myself. There was a time where I was just like, oh, look at this guy. Big fat blob, dumb voice, looks like a geek, saying crap. What a loser. I've heard myself so much, I just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've heard both. Like, to me, it's all the same. Like, I mean, it's like I've been editing perpetually for years. Oh, I have.
Right.
And so have you. It's like nonstop. And after a while, you just like, I don't even think about it anymore. I'll listen to the same show clip 50 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, trying to edit something out that was a screw up, or change up something that's too high pitched or whatever. And so it's.
And sometimes but it's just, sometimes I'll be in the car and I'll be like, oh, let's listen to Amigos for this week just to kind of get a vibe and just to see what, what's going on and how I feel about it. And, but not every week. I don't listen to the show every week.
The funny thing is, because Edwin was just talking about he liked the old shows. And one thing I will say about this show, yes, I'm not sure this is a good thing or not. A lot of shows, as they go on over the years, they will evolve in the way they do things, and they'll streamline the show. If you go back and listen to our old shows, they are almost exactly like the new shows.
That's true.
The format, we didn't really change. Now, we added and took away some stuff.
It's the old Mike Love line, don't F with the format.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like we F'd with it, but it just, whatever. Like, I remember our lunch times, like here, I remember one time we're like, yeah, we're going to have a community spotlight where we talk about other people's websites. I think we did it like 3 times.
Mm-hmm. Well, we talked about all the websites. That was it.
Right, and you're not wrong. But we were going to spotlight. They were going to talk about people that we knew, and that was going to. Then hardware came to win, and the order we've done stuff. But I mean, for the most part, if you go back and listen to like the first couple episodes, they're always me and Boat screwing around. And then we talk about the game. That's pretty much it. Now, everything else, and we've been doing this format with the news and the YouTube stuff and the game and the blog for years now. We haven't really changed that much except for the order of it.
Yeah, I'd say since about episode 100, 125, things have been pretty well set in stone, except when we moved the community updates to after the game rather than before.
Really the hardest thing was when COVID hit. We had to switch. Like, here we are. I don't think we mentioned this, but some people know. We're in the same room right now in the arcade. Look, Wonder Twin Powers. And it was so, I mean, with the exception of the sound, it's so much simpler just to sit down and not have to screw with Skype. Like, I know when I finish recording this, I'm not going to go in there and the sync's going to be okay.
Right.
That
talking over each other, all that stuff.
Yeah, when you're live, you don't do that much. And that was a big adjustment, but we all had to make it, at that point.
Well, it's a short one this month, Aaron.
Yeah, we had a good crowd in here today, though. You want to say hi to everybody before we go?
Rob, thanks for
we
being here.
Everything.
Tech Boy, Picard, Hardly Wergen, 71. Berserker 83's here with us. We appreciate you guys chilling. Wow, we got quite a few people lurking about. Sure, Amiga Live's here with us. Bitstorm, Blipblop, Buck Owens, Cobrian, Demon Danza. It's Tony Danza's cousin.
The evil Tony Danza.
Edvin from the Man Cave. Helen. Elysian. Flocked. Proto NL. Hardly Wergen, as mentioned before. Cap'n Crispy is here. Or maybe Caxips. Kedian. L. Curtis Boyle. Luminate08. Picard 2010. Rob. Flack O'Hara. Sarah Lena. Six Flags Magic Mountains with us, the whole park.
Woo!
Super Tech Boy, Texas Foosballer, Twilight Zoner, Uber Scuba Diver, Uncle Said Nom, Vergmanorgante.
Man, you're really hamming it.
And Wild World of Retro.
Aren't you glad you're not singing these?
Yeah, well, my eyesight's not what it once was.
You'd been booed. Oh, he's Italian. There you go.
Oh, sweet. I think I pronounced your name almost perfectly, wouldn't you say? And there's Mr. Moon Pie is with us too, so we got it all.
He's here to kick out any people that are causing trouble, but should we take this thing to the house?
Let's take it to his house.
Take it easy, everybody.
See you later.
Oh, hey.
Oh.
Don't forget, 3 days from now, bam, Friday, the 26th of November, just in a few days, this Friday, Thanks for Giving Marathon. Myself and the Brent will be right here where we sit for 8 big hours. We're going to do 6 hours of Thanks for Giving Marathon, and then we're going to do the Amigos, the Xenosaurus mode. That's a real Brent. I told Brent what this thing was. He just looked at me with a dumb look on his face.
We should act that out before we go, what Edmund said. Read that thing and let's act it out.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not acting that out.
Yeah, do it. You say the first line.
It was a great show.
Well, it was pretty good.
It wasn't that good.
It was bad.
Boo! Boo! You know, they do that. They have that spit bit every month on Retro Gaming Roundup.
Oh,
every month.
I don't listen to those shows.
Well, listen, we love Retro Gaming. We love everybody.
Oh, yeah. I love those guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.